morning, you're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 25th of November 2021, which is equivalent to the 20th of Rabiul Thani 1443 after Hijri. And now the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari is presently presiding over the National Security Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. In attendance are Vice President Jumio Simbajo, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, National Security Advisor, Retired Major General Babagana Mugunu, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo. Also at the meeting are the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, and the Chief of Air Staff, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Baba Al-Ali, and wife of the ADC, Dr. Hindatu Bashir. Before the commencement of the meeting, President Buhari decorated his aide-de-camp, Lieutenant Colonel Yusuf Mukhtar Dodo, with his new rank of Colonel. A bill to regulate the broadcast profession in Nigeria has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, sponsored by Representative Olaiba Arimu, seeks to establish a broadcasting practitioners' council charged with the responsibility of formal admission, certification, and registration of persons seeking to become broadcasters. The council shall also be responsible for regulating and controlling the conduct of the practice of broadcast journalism, as well as to conduct examination in the profession and award certificates of diplomas to successful candidates. On the sporting arena, Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr says the team's early campaign in Nigeria will afford them the time to prepare well for the group opening game against Egypt in the 2022 Africa Cup of Nations. It could be recalled that the three-time AFCON champions are pitted alongside Egypt, Guinea-Bissau, and Sudan. Correspondent Muhammadu Uba has details of this and other sports updates.
The German tactician Gernot Rohr, whose fate as coach of Nigeria is uncertain, said that camp will open on December 28th in a bid to prepare adequately against the Pharaohs of Egypt. In another development, Napoli forward Victor Osimhen has been discharged from the Rush Clinic, and the club confirmed that the Nigerian will be re-evaluated in 10 to 15 days. Osimhen suffered partial fractures after the accidental clash of heads with Inter Milan defender Skriniar, but the centre forward face was severely damaged in the incident. Meanwhile, Nigerian giants Eyimba have expressed their confidence ahead of facing Libya's Al-Ittihad in the CAF Confederation Cup this weekend. In another update, Liverpool's coach Jurgen Klopp has defended his statement where he referred to the African Cup of Nations as a little tournament, saying it was interpreted out of context. Klopp, during a press conference after Saturday's win over Arsenal, while answering questions regarding international breaks, referred to the AFCON as a little tournament. Responding to journalist Ojora Babatunde, who asked him to apologize for demeaning regarding the Africa version of Euros, the AFCON, as a little tournament, Klopp explained that it was a way of expressing his frustration at losing vital players at an important stage of the season. Liverpool will be without Mohamed Salah, Naby Keita, and Sadio Mane for the month-long tournament, which begins on January 9 and runs till the 6th of February. And on tennis, the Davis Cup finals are poised to move to Abu Dhabi on a 5-year deal. Muhammadu Uba, Freedom Radio.
Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, www.freedomradionig.com.
Ba za ka iya zuwa gurin sallah ba saboda mura da majina. Lalle ka sha maganin Mixer Grip saboda samun sauki daga ciwon mura da kuma majina. Mixer Grip yana da sinadarin paracetamol da kuma phenylephrine.
Mixer Grip an yi shi daga ingantaccen kamfanin magani mai suna Orange Drugs Limited. Idan ka ji alamomin mura da majina bayan kwana 3, ka je asibiti ka ga likita. Mixer Grip, kar ka tsallake rana.
Musa, la, me kake nema a cikin kitchen?
Masoyiyata, ina son cokali in sha magani.
Masoyina, ka ɗauki comics kawai, ka yaga, sha ka samu sauki.
Haka ne fa, ku yi amfani da comics ma duk kai tare. Comics yana da dextromethorphan da guaifenesin. Kawai ku yaga ku sha, ku samu sauki yana kulele in ka sha. Aha, na samu sauki yanzu. Ina son comics. Comics, kamfani Orange Drugs Limited da ke yin kasuwanci da bilancinta. Maganin zai iya saka kasala. In alamar tarin bata tsaya ba bayan kwana 3, ka ga likitanka. Comics yana kulele.
Welcome back to listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. Each year from 25th November to 10th December, the international community goes on a 16 days activism on the elimination of violence against women and children. The period in preparation of the International Human Rights Day is used to create awareness on violence against women, promote rights of women and girls in order to end gender-based violence, and promote human rights culture. Today, we have the Kano State Coordinator of the National Human Rights Commission, Shehu Abdullahi. You're welcome to Freedom Global News.
Good evening, listeners.
First off, we would like to ask you, what is gender-based violence?
Gender-based violence is any kind of violence that is directed to a person because of his gender. And that person can either be a man or a woman. And such kind of violence can affect persons emotionally, physically, financially, and of course, structurally.
Well, with that, what are the main contributing factors of gender-based violence in our society?
Of course, the main contributing factors of gender-based violence are the cultural beliefs of the society, and of course, the issue of poverty, and of course, the stereotype of other cultures coming into the society.
Okay. What makes International Human Rights Day important that 16 days of activism has been earmarked in order to celebrate the day?
Okay, you see, if you look at the statistics or the kind of persons who are more vulnerable to human rights violation, you consider that women and children are the ones. So in order to mitigate this trend of violations or gender-based violence, the United Nations set aside 16 days from the 25th to 10th of December, 25th November to 10th of December, to create awareness and, of course, bring all stakeholders dealing with sexual and gender-based violence to a single fold in order to tackle the menace.
So with this, we have the National Human Rights Commission here in Nigeria. How does it involve itself in eliminating or reducing violence against women and girls?
Of course, it is one of our functions to create awareness to the public on the issue of human rights violation generally, sexual and gender-based violence inclusive. And part of the method we devise in tackling this issue is through coordinating town halls meeting, symposiums, and of course, lectures at our institutions and secondary schools in order to create more awareness to the general public of what is going on, particularly to sexual and gender-based violence.
How does the Commission deal with gender-based violence offenders, and how does it deal with stigmatization as well of the victims?
At the initial stage, we receive complaints from the general public in respect of sexual and gender-based violence. That complaint can be either from the victim or any person who can assist the victim in reporting such complaints. And sometimes we receive the complaints through the media organization like this. So when we receive the complaints, we study the complaints, and there are some complaints that can be referred or prosecuted to the competent court of law or from the law enforcement agencies to start investigating further on what we have done. And of course, some of the complaints can be referred to health facilities for proper medical evaluation of the problem. Yes. So that is how we, and if we receive such complaints, we followed the process judiciously up to the final stage of either the prosecution or the medical evaluation.
Okay. And with that, when it comes to the victims, how do you deal with catering for them and stigmatization? Because in our society, usually victims are being stigmatized or they are put in a situation whereby they cannot report the act or the offender.
Okay, from the initial stage, when we receive such complaint, as I told you, we refer for medical evaluation. That is the first step we take for the victim. And of course, in respect of stigmatization, we follow the victim to his locality and arrange with the traditional leader of that society, of that locality, on the impact, on the negative effect of stigmatization. From there, the traditional ruler will be reporting to the commission on the development, whether there is such stigmatization or not. If there is, then we take the appropriate action of calling the perpetrator or even prosecuting the perpetrator.
Okay, so this will have to be our last question. In Kano State, what is the statistics of victims that have suffered from violence against women and children? And according to the statistics, has it increased or decreased?
Actually, let me just draw back to some of the statistics of the previous years so that we can see that whether it is dropping or, you see, in 2017, in fact, only sexual and gender-based violence, only sexual abuse that are being recorded to the from the Sexual Assault Referral Center. From the 2017, the center received a total of 815, while out of this number, 684 are female, only 131 are male. While in 2018, a total of 923 was received, 210 are male, and 713 are female. So when you come to 2019, a total of 1,064 was received.
That means the number has increased by 2019.
Yes, but when you come down to 2020, we received a total number of 804. 804. If you look at the,
which is less than 2019 and 2018.
Yes, and in this 2021, we received. The year has not ended yet, but we were able to receive 835. So it goes up and down. So probably you can attribute this to more creating awareness in respect of the reportage of such cases.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikh Hauwa Abdullahi. That is the Kano State Coordinator of the National Human Rights Commission. And in that light, the International Human Rights Day is celebrated annually in order to create awareness on human rights violations such as human trafficking, sexual and gender-based violence, among others. This year's theme is Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now. And on the foreign scene, South African scientists have detected a new COVID-19 variant in small numbers and are working to understand its potential implications. Scientists told reporters at a news conference today that the variant, called B11529, has a very unusual constellation of mutations which are concerning because they help to invade the body's immune response and make it more transmittable. And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.